Hello, my absolutely beautiful Capricorn friends, and welcome to your horoscope for 2024. We're Capricorn. Yay. Pluto's going to try and get out of your sign this year. Now, listen, that's super cool, but it's not staying out just yet. So I just want you to, let's celebrate the changes Pluto has brought to you over this last 20 years, because there has been some transformation. Absolutely, for certain, some old ideas, some old connections to the family, things like that have really done some changing for you. And really, we want to celebrate who you are, how you are, where you are right now, because this is the truth and this is the place where the growth is. We will see Pluto take a few minutes, give you a deep breath, move into Aquarius, but it's not going to stay there for the long haul until 2025. So we'll work with what we've got, continue to make it as beautiful as we can, and let the transformation and the changes come over you. Now, to make sure that you are set and prepared for 2024, I have kicked it up a notch this year. I kicked it up a little bit, Capricorn, I sure did. I have Capricorn South Node, so I'm creative, right? You get it. So this year, instead of just getting the outer planet long-term forecast for me, I have paired with Wade Caves, Christopher Renstrom, Cameron Allen, and Tiffany Harlick, and we are going to break down your horoscope through finance, relationships, medicine, and also spiritual development. So we are taking care of you in all of these different areas of life. And not only are we going to talk about them, but each astrologer is a master professional in their area. They are trained for this particular topic. So you're really getting the good here. So what I want to say, Capricorn, is first of all, grab pen, grab paper, grab a snack, plan to spend some time with this video because there is a lot of content here for you. We really wanted to make sure that you are prepared for 2024. Now, to also make sure that your resources toolkit is packed to the brim, we want you to make sure you grab your digital transit calendar from our friends at Y Skies Collective. You can click in the description box down below, take advantage of the transits coming right to your phone, getting you prepared. You're following your astrology so that you can really know how to use it and what is going on around you. And it also helps you to learn. Now, you can also get in contact with any one of the astrologers from our video in the description box down below as well. Pluto is in your sign. It has been in your sign for 20 years. But I really think when we back up and we look at your life from 2008 until now, Capricorn, really, how are you different and where can there be a celebration of it? Because the way that you're different now is going to impact how you use the energy of all of those changes in your first house when Pluto gets into Aquarius. Because as Pluto moves into the vibration of Aquarius, it is going to start to pull your attention to your financial house. Now, Pluto is not just about this wrecking ball coming in, destroying everything in your finances, run for your life, you're going to lose all your money. No, Pluto is also this vision of you stepping into your dream job, your VIP status. Where Pluto is at, it also can bring that empowerment. You're empowered. You know yourself differently. You know your craft. You know what you do. You know how to hold your own. So as you come to your financial realm, you're also able to hold that vibration and make these changes. Now, Pluto is still Pluto, so expect to deal with your finances. Expect to look at if there are gaps. If you have debt, look at what the payment plans are going to be to get those things taken care of. If there are gaps in your self-awareness, if your self-worth is low, Pluto is going to get you into taking a look at that as well. And I'm telling you, you have just really done the changing. So what Pluto has to offer coming through 2024, I think you very much so are able to navigate and handle that. Now, we've got these nodes traveling through Aries and Libra, and they did throughout 2023, but we're going to continue it here. Now, where the North Node is in Aries and it is going, it is saying you need to come this direction. This is a destiny time. You're ushering it in, and the people that you need, the resources that you need along the way are going to meet you. They're your destiny meetups who help you continue the journey, Capricorn. So Aries is down here in your fourth house. So first of all, the question is, what are you starting in your fourth house? Are you starting a family? Are you changing your home? Are you changing where you live, where you work? Is there something going on with your parents? And this is very much so changing that dynamic. Are you working from home? What is happening? But you are the force that initiates the change here because it's what you know you want to do. Now that Libra energy is up at the top of the chart in the 10th house. So the working relationships that you don't need anymore are either going to start to fall out, or you're going to come into a different relationship with them because you're like, you're not the boss of me. I have some of my own authority and I know it today. I might have forgot for a minute, but I remember today. And then you create this interdependence in your relationships between home and work. But another place that I see this happening is you have a change of title. And when I say change of title, yes, you can think work, career, taking the dream job on, right? But also at home, do we call you single and now you're taking on a marriage? Right? And you're like, okay, I see the we and where this is needed to change. And I also see where I have to hold my autonomy. So we have interdependence instead of polarity. So really watch for those changes, but be sure you're looking at that Aries side to say, okay, what do I need to initiate? Do I need to initiate understanding where in my childhood my attachment style is getting in the way of my relationships, right? These are going to be the big questions. Now, speaking of Aries energy, we've got Mars going retrograde at the end of the year in the vibration of Leo. Okay, when Mars goes retrograde, we feel it. It's like, I want you to also flash back to June to October of 2023 when Venus was retrograding through this Leo area, okay? Venus was coming through, and if you remember that time frame, it kind of felt like the world was on pause and like nobody could go anywhere, right? But all of these things about what you value, how you value yourself, how you value partnership, how you value collaboration, your money, debt, other people's money, death, astrology, all of that lives in the 8th house space. So as we're going to see Mars now moving through this area, Mars is going to help you take action in the 8th house space. So I'm telling you, death, debt, taxes, insurance, inheritance, collaborating with another person, sex, intimacy, reproductive health, detox of some variety. Astrology absolutely lands in the 8th house, and anything having to do with your partner's money as well, or your partner's values. So as we see Mars going through here, Venus has shown you what you value. Now Mars is going to help you take action to make sure that you are living in a strategic way to make this really, really actualize, okay? Jupiter is traveling with Uranus through the vibration of Taurus still, but Jupiter is not going to stay. It's going to move into Gemini, and Uranus will continue through Taurus. Now, this lights up your 5th house space of joy, pleasure, play, children, creative expression, being willing to take a risk. And for many Capricorns, I know at least amongst my clients, many Capricorns did things having to do with really finding the love of their life. And for some of you, it's that you had children, you took on work and creative hobbies that you loved, and some of you got pets, right? So whatever you have found out really brings you joy. We saw many of you having a shakeup here, but I love Uranus and Jupiter as a pairing in Taurus, because where you've needed to be creative and just share your creative love in some way, the Uranus-Jupiter combination has helped you to expand that out. Now, Jupiter is going to move into the vibration of Gemini when we get into May, and this is where we're going to start to pay attention to the expansion of your health, okay? So for some of you, again, I think that this is a great work opportunity where Jupiter is fortunate and he's like, you know, I'm bringing you an opportunity to work with the clients you said you really want to work with because you know your value. You know how to make money with what you value. You know how to pull into your life a grouping and a person and friends that are in alignment with who you really are today, okay? So as that happens, there's a great opportunity for work, for working with people that you like, good coworkers, but also changes to the health area of your life. And that's physical health and well-being and mental health and well-being. And in a way, speaking of health, I do think that some of you end up taking on a caretaking role for maybe a parent or a grandparent or something like that, where you're in a care role for at least 4 or 5 months this year. Whatever it is, Jupiter will expand your network here because you will be surrounded by a network of people who help you learn to do what you're doing in the 6th house area. So for some of you, if it's just joining a new gym or Pilates or breath work, that's very air sign, which Gemini is, this can be something really beautiful. Now, Saturn and Neptune will continue the entire year with their journey through the Pisces vibration, okay? Now, Neptune here has been bringing more spirituality to your thinking, and maybe you're learning, you're studying, you're consuming astrology and spiritual content, right? You're teaching spiritual content, you're writing that book on spiritual content. But whatever it is, Saturn has been like, if we're going to get this, we have to put a container about this. You can't talk about it anymore. You have to be about it. Build the website, write the book, actually study and take the class and get rid of the distractions so we can get it done. Buy the house, sell the house, the contracts in your life. You can see yourself entering this year with a lot more focus and discipline to this particular area, because what you're really wanting is to gain mastery. And it's not just mastery of a physical task, but it's emotional and spiritual mastery, which is where you'll be focusing your energy as we're traveling throughout 2024. And what this looks like on the other side is you have something steady that you have mastered to also be able to communicate, which is that third house realm. All right, my beautiful Capricorn friends, have a gorgeous year. I will see you every month, every week, and every day if you're following me on Instagram. But right now I'm leaving you in the hands of Wade Caves to talk about your financial timing for 2024. Bye.
Pretty good year for Capricorn financially. I think Capricorn tends to know how to make jam out of any mess of berries, but I don't think there's too much adverse that you'll have to deal with over the course of this year. I like Mars moving into Capricorn as it does. It will make a sextile to Saturn and a trine to Jupiter and Taurus. Those aspects are very beneficial for Capricorn. They give bravery, opportunity to expand, opportunity to deepen, opportunity to consolidate. So there's a lot really to look forward to, I think. In April, there is, don't let me forget March. I mean, we got Mars moving into Pisces, which casts a sextile to Capricorn, and it will sextile your sun or ascendant in Capricorn, whichever it is that you have. And I like the sextile that we get from Mars in Pisces and Jupiter in Taurus that comes in the middle of April. There are some transits that you're just going to want to be aware of. The two that really stand out to me are Mars making its ingress into the cardinal signs that are in square to Capricorn. So Mars in Aries will square your natal sun or square your natal ascendant, whichever's in Capricorn. And then Mars in Cancer will be in the opposing sign of Capricorn. So generally not advisable to be making big, important decisions when Mars is transiting the sign opposite your natal sun.
Capricorn, you're going to have more people in your life than you know what to do with. And that's thanks to Pluto moving into the air sign Aquarius on January 20th, to be joined by Jupiter moving into the air sign of Gemini in May. Now, this idea of having more people in your life than you know what to do with. Well, if you were a Gemini, if you were a Leo, if you were a Libra, and even if you were an Aquarius, you would find this delightful. Okay, this would be a wonderful thing. Oh, all these people in my life, all these new friends, all these new acquaintances, all these new clients. What a wonderful thing. I'm surrounded by people who are full of stimulating ideas, different opinions, different perspectives, entertaining conversation. You know, I mean, you can almost hear the delight that a Libra or a Gemini would have with the prospect of all of this. You were born under Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and you are an earth sign. So you're very aware that the clock is ticking, and that there are bills to be paid, and there are things that you need to get done, and you need to produce results for the work that you do. Typically, as a Capricorn, even if you perhaps work even in a corporate environment, you're used to going off by yourself to go and get the work done, okay? You don't really socialize a lot with work. And if you socialize in your life, it's probably because your partner is very social or an air sign, okay? But Capricorns have a tendency to distance themselves from other people so that they can focus on work or focus on the important things in life. And people are fun, like maybe at a cocktail party or you know, a bowling tournament or something along those lines. but you don't want too many people in your life because they have different wants and needs that are always constant and they're interrupting your schedule. And Capricorns are very much about their schedule. Well, get used to more people in your life, as I already said. You have a huge, enormous influx of people that are coming into your life in 2024. It begins in January, and you're going to have to work with them. You're going to have to work with their timetables. You're going to have to work with their changing needs. But they're not here to sort of like make you jump through the hoops, okay? They're not here with, you know, like, oh, Capricorn, I want this, I want that, I want this. Up to it. No, that's not what they're here for. They're actually here in your life to improve your life. Okay, they're here in your life to take you to the next level. They're here to promote your work. They're here to promote you as a personality. They're here to expand the horizons of your world, the experience that you have of your life and of your world. They're here to make you laugh. More importantly, they're here to help you. As a Capricorn, you're used to being the reliable one. You're used to being the one that people turn to, and you're used to helping people. And so the question's always like, well, who helps you? And you're like, that's fine. I've got, you know, Priscilla or Bob or whatever to help me. But you know, the real answer is nobody helps me. I take care of myself. You're an earth sign, you're a Capricorn. Well, this is what's changing with Pluto coming into the zodiac sign of Aquarius, and it's change you're going to have to deal with for the next 20 years, you know, as there is a significant shift in the elemental energy of your chart. You've had Pluto in your own sign, an earth sign, since 2009, so that's been more solitary, that's more by yourself, that's more like, you know, in the wilderness trying to find yourself. With Pluto in Aquarius, you're coming out of the wilderness, you're re-socializing, you're reacquainting yourself with people. You think it might be a passing thing, but it's not, Capricorn. It's here to stay. So at first you might be sort of cranky old goat pants, you know, about like, oh, I have to change my schedule for this person or whatever. But in time, during 2024, especially after May, you're going to sort of get used to the idea. You're going to kind of enjoy it. But, you know, because it's Pluto's first real year in Aquarius, and it's not even a whole year, it retrogrades back into Capricorn between September and November, you're not going to really trust it. Okay, and indeed, during that period of time when Pluto retrogrades back down into Capricorn, which is September 1st to November 19th, you're going to kind of pick up your old, you know, curmudgeonly solitary ways again, you know, and you might kind of put your foot down and focus on you and all these sorts of things. But during that period of time, not only are you going to miss how social your life was, the people in your life aren't going to give up on you. They're going to be like tweeting you and emailing you and doing all these things. And so you're going to kind of like warm up to this idea of having a more peopled life than you're used to having. And that's something that I wish I could be there to sort of see the smile creep across your face as you get used to that more and more. And the thing is, not only are you going to be getting used to more people in your life, Capricorn, you're going to find that you're liking it, you know, that you really, really enjoy it. And this Capricorn, this is the marvelous revolution that Pluto in Aquarius has to bring into your life. It begins in 2024, and oh boy, does it pick up momentum a lot in 2025.
Hey everybody, Cameron here. Welcome to your 2024 forecast for Capricorn Rising for medical astrology. And so something that you want to be really mindful of throughout the year is just something that you've already been going through for a while now. And that's just Pluto is still oscillating between your second house and your first house. So if there is something longstanding going on with your health, especially if it has something to do with the endocrine system or like a deeper structural issue that you've been dealing with, you want to make sure that you go see a practitioner and really dive deeply into that. I especially say that because after May 26th this year, Jupiter, which rules the 12th house of mental health, is going to be going through the 6th house of physical health. And then also things having to do with the daily routines. Because the 6th house can be a place where we have a tendency to create acute illness And so we just want to be mindful of that throughout the year and really being sure that you're doing things to take care of your mental health. This is also emphasized not just because of the Pluto in the first house, but because the nodes are going through your 10th house and your fourth house axis. And that means at some point throughout the year, the nodes will be squaring the ascendant. And for the nodes to square the ascendant means that myself as a Capricorn rising, is going through some type of crossroads. So we're at some type of crossroads. And when we're at a crossroads, especially having to do with something having to do with career, work, reputation, what we're doing out in the world, and things that are going on internally for me and at my home and with my family, and potentially having to do with my ancestors or a move, this is just like a very dynamic tension, right? Because it's also going to activate your descendant, having to do with relationships. So you want to be mindful of that, because that can bring a sense of stress being at a crossroads, especially for Capricorn risings who tend to want to have everything composed and the P's and Q's all in alignment together. So something that I'm thinking about for Capricorn rising this year is just being mindful of what are your routines, especially after May 26th when Jupiter goes into your sixth house. Just making sure you really have routines that are not just focused on your physical body and your wellness from a material perspective, but how is your spirit? And when I say spirit, I don't mean like some subtle energy body or something like that. I mean like your mental health. So for Capricorn rising, especially again, because Capricorns want to cross the T's and dot the I's, something that can be really, really helpful. And I'm not even like, I'm thinking now, like this is something that you could take with you for life rather than just this year, but it is important this year as you're going through a crossroads. So Capricorn rules the tendons, ligaments, joints, the musculoskeletal system as a whole. And so for Capricorn risings, maybe a practice is just making sure that the joints are mobile. The sixth house is Gemini, and Gemini rules the arms, the hands, and the shoulders. And so maybe just on a daily basis, making sure you're rotating your wrists, going back and forth, starting from the wrists and then going to the elbows, but keeping the everything going at the hands and the wrist as well. And then maybe bringing in the shoulders. And just really being sure to take your time. Something else to do to give yourself a moment of stillness and pause is to just swipe your face. Give yourself a moment of clarity. And because we're working with the head here, we're just thinking about how can I remove any stagnation or rigidity from my mind. And understanding with Capricorn, everything is about longevity. And if you're thinking about climbing to the top of a mountain, nobody climbs up a mountain through running. You don't run up mountains. You have a plan. You have the strategy. And the thing to know is if you want to hurry up, you have to take your time. So just giving your headspace some love. This can allow for a mental health pause in a moment of clarity while we figure out the plan on our way in 2024 and beyond. So thanks for being here, and thanks for taking care of yourself and being diligent and disciplined about it, because I know you have it in you to take care of all the things in the world and climb the ladder So be sure you're doing the same thing with yourself and your physical health. Stay blessed, dear ones.
Hey Capricorn, I'm Tiffany Harlick. If you have a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising, or are watching for a Capricorn loved one, you're in the right place. I'm going to offer you a spiritual forecast through the lens of astrology. Before we get going, my promise to you is to offer clear, concise, and accurate information in a way you can understand. I have a Virgo midheaven. I'm a Scorpio. And your promise to me is to follow your free will, to follow your heart, to follow your direction, and to never use astrology against yourself. Your spiritual opportunity, Capricorn, is answering a calling. This is a career pivot for you. This is something to be aware of. This is about loosening up, lightening up, having a good time, and enjoying the ride. We're here for a good time, not a long time. I want you to have more open-endedness in your schedules and see how that feels. I want you to experiment with that. And you might want an accountability buddy this year. Your mantras are, I enjoy embracing positive change quickly. I love this precious human life and trust in divine right timing. My body is my temple. My mind, body, spirit, health is a priority for me. Your ruling planet is Saturn. So Saturn is a primal motivating factor in helping you decide how you want to manage your energy this year. And that's why I've looked at the Saturn transits to help you understand where you might be pulled. So how do you rise to the occasion of your inner Saturn? What rules are you going to stop using against yourself and other people? This is about answering a bigger calling. You're going to see a career pivot. We're going to study your lineage. We're going to offer some space for grace. And ultimately, we're going to see we're going to see ourselves better through the lens of the other, through our relationships. So this career pivot that's happening in the first quarter, the January is a 9-month in the numerology, and this is an integration, an opportunity to assimilate and digest. There is better opportunities for flow in January because Mars, Mercury, and Venus all sextile Saturn. It feels better. It feels like flow. Things are coming together. Things are coming full circle. In February, the energy shifts to a 1 in the numerology, and this is about focus. We can tend to get alienated. We can tend to have analysis paralysis. Be aware of this and circle February 28th is a very interesting and auspicious day to do some soul writing. Mercury and Saturn will be in the heart of the sun in Pisces over the course of a couple of days here. So this is very intuitive, very psychic, very woo-woo, but also very clear and direct information. In March, we have a 2 in the numerology, and this is about the relationship we have between the physical and the spiritual, the natural and the supernatural. And the reason that I'm saying that there's a career pivot going on is because you've got this eclipse happening in your 10th house of career, reputation, your legacy, how the world sees you, the gifts that they need from you, Capricorn. And just know that also there might be some goodbyes going on or some space needed. Venus conjunct Saturn there. Sometimes people are in your life for a reason, and sometimes they're in your life for a season, and it feels like there might be a beneficial opportunity to unplug from some energy here in March. Feel free to grab a screenshot. These are the sacred reunification opportunities within yourself, within your lineage, within your home and family and roots, where you might self-sabotage at work, where you might see some things that you've been afraid of and see if they make sense throughout the year. For self-development, I'm offering everybody to check into an old tool of mine, which is the Silva method. And Jose Silva was born in El Paso, Texas. He created this technique to access higher states of the mind. And the thing I love the most is that he says this won't work unless you use it to help many, many people. For your stewardship, check in with your financial stewardship. How are you doing with your budget? How are you doing with tithing? How are you doing with the responsibilities of being a good steward of your finances? And I want you to journal about your spiritual funds. What would it look like if you could do whatever you wanted and your life was completely funded by the universe? And I want you to list 5 people that you really admire. I want you to take out the qualities that you admire about them, why you like them, and see if you want to embody any of those this year. I have a book suggestion for you there. And as we look at your second quarter, your lineage, where you came from, your roots and your refuge, April is one of the biggest months in astrology in 2024. The 3 month is about connection. So we're craving that connection. And there's also a lot of ancestry opportunities for you. Mercury will retrograde in your fourth house, right, of home and family and our roots. This same house is where the eclipse will activate in 19 degrees of Aries. There is some elimination process going on here. So be aware of the things that are slipping away, the things that you aren't bringing with you. And then on April 20th, we have this building momentous energy and then windfall energy. Things happen quickly and big and massively in a big way. This falls in your fifth house of creativity. And so I want you to be open to something massively good happening for you. That's a lot of fun. In May, we have a 4 in the numerology, and this is about being steady and still while you're on the surfboard of life and the waves are crashing around you. Saturn, your ruling planet, is aspected positively. Things are going to work out. Your job is to stay grounded, centered, and neutral. In June, the numerology of the 5 feels like we're pulled in a lot of different directions. We can feel pulled too thin. But the good news here is, yes, we are distracted. Yes, we are feeling challenged. However, this Jupiter trine Pluto is going to overpower that. And as you think, so shall you be. Jupiter, the great magnifying glass, Pluto, the great transformer. If you work with the Silva method or any method for your provision, your spiritual vision, this is the quarter to do it. This is the one to really kick it in gear. Just access a place of joy, feel it, and sit with that feeling in your meditation. Let that feeling expand. Okay. Your self-development here, I'm inviting all of the signs to go study, research, look up the history and information behind the Ho'oponopono prayer. It goes like this. It goes inward towards myself. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Your stewardship has to do with the interior redesign of your house and your heart and your soul, the interior castle. So how can you make your home a place you run to and not away from? How can it reflect something for you that you can relax and have structure around you and take it easy? A great activity here this quarter is going to be to research your ancestry, your lineage, your family tree, your roots. See if that resonates with you, with something that you're wanting to know about yourself. Maybe you want to write a letter to your ancestors, thanking them for something wonderful that they have gifted you, that you are taking forward in this precious human life. If your body is talking to you and you don't know why, there's usually a spiritual and emotional component to it. And this book, Metaphysical Anatomy, to me is I think it's the best one that I've found. To be able to pinpoint the relationship between the physical and the metaphysical. So this might be one you want to check out. In the third quarter, I want you to leave some space for grace. July is that 6 energy. This is nesting. This is home comforts. This is Queen of Pentacles energy. And your Saturn is positively aspected. And I know that there's going to be opportunities, doors open. You're able to make long-term commitments. Things feel really good and restful and restorative in July. In August, we've got a 7 energy, which is about more like the spiritual questions, the reflective inner time. It is going to require a little bit more of your spiritual discipline. Your Saturn is challenged. It's not as easy at flowing as it was in July. There's more growing pains because we've got Jupiter squaring Saturn. Jupiter shows us what we want to do, our biggest human potential, and Saturn shows us where we really have to have more responsibilities, or we have our duties, or we have the things we have to take care of. And there's inner tension, there's growing pains there. So the Mercury retrograde cycle will go from your 9th to your 8th house. 8th to 9th house, 9th to 8th house. And so this is about sacred spaces. This is about your pilgrimage. This is about your spiritual journeys. This is about your desire to connect with culture. And that can be a huge asset to you as you're studying your lineage. In September, we have an 8-month. This is about energy not being created or destroyed. This is trusting that what goes up must come down and what comes down must come up. Now, I want you to be aware that this eclipse in September is not like the others. This is on your 3rd house. This is in the house of information exchange, of ideas, of transmission, of receiving knowledge. It is the teacher and the student. And so I want you to leave some space to learn something else. And really, you know, with the retrograde cycle and the eclipse here, I feel like we can tend to feel like we're living 100 hours and 24 hours. It can feel like overload. So I just want you to have a little extra breathing room in your schedule, Capricorn. If you want to grab a screenshot, these are the questions I have identified for a sacred reunification with your inner knower. You know, is there some area that you have self-sabotaged your education or the information that you receive from the universe? Are you worried that the universe is not going to give you the information that you want? Are you not trusting yourself to receive the information? These are some things to work with. For self-development, I'd love to see you create a new playlist. For stewardship, I'd love for you to research some opportunity for you to volunteer or help with humanitarian aid or foreign support. And for an activity, I would love for you to write a letter to your council elder, whether they're real or fictitious, right? You can write the question with your dominant hand and the answer with your non-dominant hand and see what comes up. This is one you can play with throughout the year. And there's a recommendation for you. In your fourth quarter, there's a bigger relationship focus going on. In October, the numerology is a repeat of January. So it's that integration, closure, completion, something's coming full circle. And what is that for you, Capricorn? It's more information about your career pivot, your reputation. Study your midheaven in astrology. Go to your astrologer and learn as much about your midheaven, your give back as you can. My midheaven is in Virgo. So it doesn't matter what I'm teaching or what I'm talking about or what I'm excited about, as long as I'm doing it in a Virgo way, right? As long as I'm giving bullet points, as long as I feel like I'm helping people, right? So let's see, in November, the numerology changes to a 1, where we have that hyper focus. That's going to be helpful for you as Saturn goes direct in Pisces here in November 15th. And so Saturn has a long retrograde period. That's totally normal. Saturn in Pisces, Saturn shows us discipline. Discipline comes with the word disciple, which is to study, right, regularly. And then in Pisces, that spiritual nature, that inner psychic. And so you might want to create a spiritual wish list or use Pinterest to do some kind of vision board for a spiritual space you want to create. Mercury will retrograde in your 12th house of the supernatural. So I think it'll be kind of a woo-woo time of year for you. And then in December, Mars retrograde overlaps the Mercury retrograde in your 8th and 7th houses. Now, Stephen Forrest describes the difference between the 7th and the 8th house like this. It's like the 7th house, man, your best friend comes in and they say that they're moving overseas and you're going to miss them and it's going to hurt, but you're happy for them. But then your lover comes in and they say that they're moving overseas and you are gut punched and you are wrecked and your world just changed. That is the difference between the 7th and the 8th houses. Now, as December comes to a close, we will see Jupiter square Saturn for the 2nd time. So this inner tension with growing pains, with what we want to do versus what we got to do, will be repeated from July. So what are you aware of this time of year? What is in your awareness right now? I want to offer a relationship inventory to everyone, but for you, this is kind of the time of year. This is the season when it may come in most handy. So this is my personal one I use. I didn't write it. I go in this order. I write it, I journal through all the questions. It takes me about an hour. And I sit with a closed mouth friend and I offer, I ask, have I missed anything? Is there anything that you see that I might be leaving out unintentionally? And then I sleep on it. I meditate, I pray on it. And I ask to be removed from the bondage of the self, and I ask to be shown my motives and my underlying energy because I want to not be agitated at people. I want to understand myself, right? And if that's not you, Capricorn, that's all those other Capricorns, and you need something kind of basic, just do a little check-in with the people that you love. What's going well between us? How can I improve? Was I of service to you? What do you need from me? How can we do this better? Your self-development opportunity, to do the breath work, to do the box breath. You just start at the base and you inhale for 4 counts, and you pause at the top for 4 counts, and you exhale for 4 counts, and you pause at the bottom for 4 counts. I love the book Science of the Breath if you're interested in studying the breath. Your stewardship is to do that relationship maintenance. And your activity is to look at this journal prompt. What's it like being on the other side of you? What might it feel like? And I want to offer you the book Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love it because on Audible, because I like to listen to the meditation while I'm walking. I have one more slide for you, Capricorn, but before we get there, I just wanted you to know where you can find me. I've got resources, blog, podcast, YouTube, newsletter, articles. I do one-on-one sessions, and I offer retreats. And so check those offers out at tiffanyharlick.com. There's some other resources for you. And please use the code Stormie 2024 for $10 off my digital astrology calendar. This is something I've been writing for 7 years. It is a passion project. It goes with you in any time zone. I use it in Google Calendar, but you can use it in any of your calendar systems to let the universe have your back. So you just click on the title of the calendar entry, and you can see what's going on in the cosmos. There's a description, so you can learn astrology if you want to, or you can just look at the emojis and get a vibe for if this is a day to do stuff or to lay low. I'm teaching a certification program if you want to be a certified astrologer at the Lisa Williams International School of Spiritual Development. And I offer free classes for my membership. So these are some things that I offer out there in our community. And above all else, we're here for a good time, not a long time. This is about enjoying the ride. This is about knowing yourself, loving yourself, following your intuition. So I hope this has been useful for you. I hope this has been fun for you, and I hope you have the best year ever. It is my ultimate pleasure and honor to read for you and to work for you in this capacity. So until we can work together again, Capricorns, namaste.